I'm Swati and I'm going to tell you a story of millions of Indian rural women. I visited villages as a science communicator, had a lot of energy, enthusiasm and hope to bring more girls into STEM education. But what I found there was pretty disappointing and shocking. There were no girls there. It was anybody's guess why they were not there. Well, girls were there on roads, in houses, in homes, playing under the tree, but not in schools. And then I realized that there is super ignorance about one natural phenomenon, that is menstruation, in men and women. And this ignorance often leads to indifference. Well, that's okay, but ignorance and indifference together lead to a very big injustice, and this injustice is aimed only at girls and women, that they have to lose out on their education. And I strongly believe that when you lose out on your education, you lose your right to a lifestyle. You can't say that I am going to shape my life in this particular way, because you have no tool, you have no education to do that. Now, unavailability of any kind of sanitary products for good protection, this was a very local problem, and considering the taboo that prevails in our society, told me that this is a very local problem and it needs a very local solution. So yeah, if you are city bred, what do? You start thinking that what you can really do about it. So I did that, the design thinking started, and the very same women, I thought if they make pads, use them and sell them also to make them available to their counterparts, that might help them all, that might help the girls. So our training started. You can see the women are as simple, they were either homemakers or maximum they were farm workers, but here they were learning to operate the machines, to maintain them, to check the different qualities of raw material and compile it into a pad and actually use it. The whole thing was quite revolutionary for them. You can see how they look like and you can see the transition. When you learn something new, when you make something with your hand, look what confidence does to you. And this is how I conceived this particular project called Sakhi, a friend to a woman who understands her problems and actually does something to resolve them. Here is some pictures from our current latest project, which is in Kashmir. You can also see the transformation in the girls, how they were and how they are, how they have become now after they have learned to make their own pads to solve their own problem. In all this training, we often used to say that this project is not just a project, but it is a university where all these women are getting the degree of MBA, Mahila in Business Administration. When we started doing this, initially it was just one unit, few women, then another started, and chalte karwa banta gaya. We had very little funds with us. Initially, I used to train them to take funds from the government grants or apply to some bank and get some small loan to set up the machines and start working with the pads. But we didn't really have great funds to have good transportation facility or a tempo facility to take the things from here and there. But when a woman starts doing something and involves her family also in it, miracles can happen, and such small innovations are very important to run a rural social enterprise. One of my unit leader's husband, he said, I work for ST, State Transport Bus, and State Transport goes to each and every village, and that struck a bell. We had a meeting with State Transport, and here we are. All our raw material and finished goods started traveling by ST bus, initially in Gujarat and now all over India. We also made good use of postal services, then e-shops and kiosks like the local melas, every weekly melas they have, for bringing in awareness. Because when you speak of a pad to a rural woman, this is kind of a foreign concept for her. So, we had to educate her that this is something you need and by which you can eradicate your problem. Many of you may not be aware that according to health report, CAG report, almost 76% of women in India are kind of affected with some or the other kind of infection in vaginal area. This is a huge number and this needs to be checked, and who will check it? If no one else, the women will themselves. This was another small innovation that when for a rural woman to go and work in the factory, it's a very big step for her, and she might face opposition from her household. So, we made Saas Bahu pairs to work in these teams. Now, if the Bahu goes out of the house to work, it's not a problem with the Saas because she is a partner in crime. They both are going to earn money together. And if the Saas, if she says that work properly, this is not the correct way, the Bahu doesn't mind it anymore. In that Saas, we have found probably the best quality control department in the world. They both together now are making it easy for the rest of the women around them. This particular project also did one good thing to women. If you see lately, even rural women, they were giving too much importance to the external beauty, wearing trinkets, putting up nail polish and makeup. But after this project, when we started talking to them about the internal health, the reproductive health, it's brought back their attention from external beauty to eternal health. This is one very big thing. This way there were some 10-15 units, and one day the women stopped working. We were wondering what happened. They said, well, the entire village hates us because we don't know what to do with a used pad. We don't like littering it about, and yes, this was a very big problem, and what to do with a used pad, no one had thought about it. But we did, because this was a project started by the women for the women. So, every little problem that came in front of us, we kept it right in the front and decided to kind of find a solution to that. So, me and my husband, we were going around the village looking at the site, and we thought what would gel in this particular atmosphere, and we created this little equipment. We call it Ashuddhi Nashak. Now, in this equipment you can see a simple thing. From top you have to just put the pad in and go away. So, it keeps a woman's privacy and dignity intact, because this is just a 3-second operation. And in the evening, this particular chamber acts as collection chamber as well as combustion chamber. In the evening, you just insert fire through some paper or grass or some linters. You can see how easily girls are using it in the schools, and well, it spread faster than we had thought. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan then said like this is a very good equipment to be put in all the schools. So, first it was put across Gujarat, then Himachal Pradesh, then Madhya Pradesh, and then whatnot. It kept on spreading, and well, President of India then late Dr. Pranab Mukherjee appreciated it. But more than that appreciation, the best appreciation we got for this equipment was a little girl said, now you know I can come to school during my periods also, and no one will scold me for putting the pad here and there. What could be, you know, a better thing when, like, you know, in this whole course of working. This one small equipment opened the doors for rural women to use a tool like a pad, because till then they were using ash, rags. In Rajasthan I saw they were sitting on a sand filled pot, somewhere they were just made to sit on a stone. These were all such ghastly practices, you know, very heartbreaking practices. And this one thing, this one small equipment just changed it for them, and this is what made the project successful and spread. And we started small, but now we are at some 1000+ units spread across the you know, villages of India, and of course in some cities. See, awareness becomes very, very important, because in our society a great taboo prevailed around this particular topic. So, we started taking awareness sessions, but only awareness wasn't enough. Affordable access was something which was equally important. That's why so many units. Then we, you know, decided that we can't advertise, we don't have money for that, we can't do anything else, but what we can do is, girls, you know, everywhere they sing a lot of songs, or there are nukkad nataks. So, we did all of that, and we involved village men into the project. Earlier, well, all the men were very angry, they wouldn't look at the project, or they wouldn't, you know, get involved in any way. But then we made small WhatsApp groups of village men. Earlier this was a big risk, because we weren't sure like how they will react. But if a good message, good knowledge, good piece of knowledge sent in a good proper way, you know, people respond positively. Now the thing is, like, if we don't send any messages to men, we get a message back that we like to listen to this knowledge, we like to know, and we like to respond responsibly. See, through these messages we always made sure that we tell this fact to a man, that you have equal stake in a woman's health. So, if you are a father, if you are a son, if you are a boyfriend, or if you are a husband, you have to be little sensitive to the women in the house. Either help them and keep aside a small amount, so that, you know, the women don't get infection and they can buy a packet of pad for themselves. We made a lot of geets, garbas, all kinds of lokis, folk, you know, music we used, and popularized this very concept that there is hygiene required during your menstruation, and use pads. Yeah. In this course we met a lot of beautiful people. These beautiful dolls, they are made by autistic students. This is a film on menstrual awareness, menstrual hygiene awareness, and the dolls are made by autistic students. This one topic, or this one project, again is very, very close to my heart. Well, I had made the pad popular in the rural setups, but the pad is good enough for me and you to use. So, how to put this idea into the mind of middle class women, the thinking class women? So, I started this challenge called the Hygiene Bucket Challenge, where one empowered woman empowers another. What is this challenge? Gift a pack of sanitary pads, 12 packets of sanitary pads, the entire year's supply, to a girl who hasn't heard about it or who can't afford to buy it. But not just gifting, you have to give 5 minutes of your life telling her, talking to her about menstrual hygiene and why it is important and how it affects her health. Well, we received such a thumping response because I think women also wanted that there should be talk, there should be a conversation around this topic. So, we actually had 5 lakh women coming forward, reaching out to 5 lakh rural girls through this project. And when women start talking, change happens. You know, you do find solutions, and that's what this little hygiene bucket challenge did for the girls in India. Next challenge was we established systems in rural area of Swati Sakhis because for a rural women it was easier to get access to the pad through a woman. They wouldn't walk into a shop, and even if they have money they wouldn't buy it because the shopkeeper was a man. So, we did this, and when COVID struck, we made a little equipment which is non-electrical that you just put in a coin and you get a pad. We call it pad vending machines or pad ATM machines. Here I would like to tell you, this is how my women came to me with a long veil on their head, and you can see the confidence when they actually threw away their veil. You can see the confidence on their face that even if now there is going to be a ghungat, it is going to be of self-confidence, of self-esteem. That is a big difference this project has done to the women. Women who never had any face or any authority in their homes. One of our women often says, her name is Akhtar Ben, that we used to ask for money always to everyone, but now we can give it in a time of crisis because we are earning it and we are giving hygiene to all our girls in the villages who can go to school. Now the project like this had to spread and had to spread in big way. So we have some guests here from Cameroon. Here is a unit in Bhutan. You can see Bhutan Prime Minister actually inaugurating because across Bhutan we set up some 20-25 units together, and school girls started making pads for their counterparts. That one is I think in Nepal, and the upper one is in Jordan. This particular unit is for Syrian refugees living in Zatari camp in Jordan. There were almost 4 to 5 war people affected by war who were paraplegic, couldn't move and had nothing even to cover up their wounds. And well, that's when I realized that sanitary pads have this particular use also. They can be a very good bandage on the wounds. Since our pads are biodegradable, made from organic material. Now, this was a very big change that are you aware, like, you know, where the pads are made worldwide? They are mostly made in East European countries or in China, which are cold places. So, maybe use of polymers inside the pad, it's okay for them. But in our country, where the temperature is something like 30 to 35 average, we can't use something which is filled with polymers. And you know, this trick we never realized when this happened. Earlier it was wood pulp the pad was made from, and now they are all made with super absorbent polymers which keep radiating and which causes cervical cancer, you know, among the women. If you see the latest reports, you can understand that earlier it was breast cancer that was prevailing, the percentage wise, now it is cervical cancer in the women. So, what we need is, we definitely need an organic pad. We do not want to go back to using of cloth because it is uncomfortable and we do not have enough water for that matter to waste in washing the cloth. But we should get a good disposable pad which is made from organic material, and it is also helping or promoting zero waste farming, because what we have worked on is the entire absorbent material of the pad is made from farm waste, which is not even used as fodder by farmers. So, the corn ears or aquatic plants which cover up the lake, water hyacinth, or banana stem fibers, that is our raw material, and from that this absorbent material is made, and which is safe for you, which is safe for your daughters. Now, credibility of the project, any project, if it remains stagnant, you can't grow. So, expansion is necessary, and for that credibility is necessary. So, we created a movement of social awareness and deconstruction of taboo. The next thing was empowering schoolgirls. Then we started conducting academic studies around this whole project, and even went to an extent to start a certificate course with a well laid out curriculum. It's like with entrepreneurship of India, it's a EDI, complete body with a college. You can choose this as an elective and do this course of making sanitary protection product. Now, keeping up with the time, the women came up with different ideas that what are a mother's, her fears, you can say small fears, that my daughter is going to school and what if the period comes unwarranted. So, we created smart panties which give protection for 5 to 7 hours, and all these things are designed also by the rural women. That is the beauty of it, that you give one skill, there is absolutely no limit to where women can take the whole thing to. During COVID, they made hand sanitizers, then somebody came up with even baby diapers should be made with the same material. We shouldn't use inorganic diapers for our babies. So, they make that also. So, all these 1000 units are making wonderful things across India. And here I would like to say one thing, that when we were small, we were managing, we were making it sustainable, but when you want to grow, you need a good partner. And we found a very good partner, a mentor and a guide in Kotak Mahindra Bank. It is not just an institution, but they go beyond basic things or planning financial strategies and help you to build a much bigger picture. They actually helped us in building a good ecosystem where menstruation is a right and not a challenge. Here I would like to talk about our Shirros. She is Moody Ben and lives in a small village called Dhanpur. In her village, there was a time where 200 women, there were 200 cases of cervical cancer at a time, and women had just accepted it as their fate. But she dared, she started a unit. Now she is supplying pads to 25 villages and making it possible for the girls to go to the school. The other one, she is Shanti Ben, and she was thrown out of the village by, she was called a witch woman. She was living alone in a hut by the riverside. So, we got together with her, and you know what? All the men in the village said, we will not do anything, we do not want to work with a witch woman. We needed one brick and mortar hut, So, women said, we know how to build it, we are the ones who help them. So, we got together, and this particular, I would like to call it a small factory of ours, is made 100% by women. And we went a step ahead. We wanted that space, and a temple complex there had that space. So, a phenomenon where women are stopped from going to a temple. This particular project is running very well. in a temple complex with जो भी God भगवान खुदा है उनके आशीर्वाद से everything is hunky dory out there. The next one is Akhtarben. You know, she went beyond religion restrictions and is providing livelihood to the women in her entire mohalla. This unit is in a small place called Baska, somewhere in Gujarat. So, this particular award we institutionalized, and this was institutionalized with one of the television channels. So, it got that particular you know, fame to the women which they deserved. Well, what a small project and little efforts can do. All these women, they were, you know, kind of were looking for some status, some dignity. Their status was that of a maid in India, but from there now they are leaders of made in India pads. This is the transformation. अगर हौसला है तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. You know, your surroundings, पैसे का ना होना, nothing can really stop you. You always find a way. All you need, हौसला चाहिए, तो definitely हो जाएगा. See, if a menstruation is a necessity, solving it shouldn't be a luxury. It's our societal duty to ensure women's basic rights are met, and for that, self-satisfaction should be the only award. Thank you very much.